Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm playing music on my end. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I think you can, nonetheless. But if you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Testing one, two. Welcome, welcome to our uh, very current next Leadership Live. It is your girl, Sharissa Monroe Wilborn. How are you guys doing? If you can hear me, let me know. You guys know I love up the chat. So we are live on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're going to have another good one. It's going to be short. You guys know we're going to be quick. We're going to be short, but we're going to be strong. So please let me know in the comment section or in the chat where you are joining from. I saw New Zealand is in the building already. So come on in. Let me go over to Instagram and see who is here. Thank you, Making of Kings. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know in the chat. Drop where you are joining from. Let me see how global we are. Let me see who's in the building. I love to know that we are here. It is a good day. I am sitting in my beautiful home in Chicago on a nice warm day in Chicago, believe it or not. But nonetheless, we are here. So let me know where you are. This is our 7th Leadership Live. Seven. If you have been here with me for all 7 of these, this is going to be 7. So if you've done 6 and this is your 7, put 7 in the chat. But if you've been to any of these lives I've done on a Tuesday in the last 7 weeks, just put a me. If you've done all 7, put a 7. If you've been here, put a me. And then drop in the chat and let me know where you are joining from. I see we have Boston is here. Good. Boston is here. People are coming in slowly. Canada is in the building. South Africa is in the building. I knew Africa wasn't going to be far. Pennsylvania, USA. Juan, thank you for being here. I love your dad's teaching. Thank you, Caleb. It is the best. His teachings are still very relevant. I'm still gleaning from them. I'm still learning from them, and I'm still teaching from them. So good. Thailand is in the building. You are on a work trip, bro. Thank you for being here. Texas is here. 7. Maxie Cooper, you've been here for all 7 of these. Awesome. Maureen, you've been here. Good. So if you've been to all 7 of my lives, this is number 7. Go ahead and put 7 in the chat. If you have been to any of them, you've been to one of them, 2 of them, however many, put me in the chat. Let me know that you've been gleaning. Awesome. Good. So we're continuing our conversation about clarity and alignment, and clarity being a condition of alignment. So we're going to continue that conversation, especially if you've been with me over the last 7 weeks. Virginia's in the building. Impact for Next Level. Good to have you. You know that we've been in there. We've been in there just having brief conversations. I've been sharing with you kind of my heart, giving you where kind of how my life has evolved and grown and matured over time. And so we can just finish that conversation. Thank you so very much. We are so proud of you. Thank you, Chika Show Up. So we're gonna get started. I don't want to waste your time. We're gonna be here for a short time. I always say that, and then we end up being here a little longer, but I promise you we're not going to be here too long. Not long at all. But I did want to pop on and finish that conversation. I hope there are some of you who are already planning on attending the coming summit. Before I move on, we have a summit called the Empowered Living Summit, and our theme for that day is clarity restored in leadership and life, and what that looks like. And so we're going to really go into depth. We're going to now take that over on Zoom. That's going to be a private conversation with anyone that registers. It's $97 for general admission. If you want VIP, but it's going to be an hour after the actual summit, just me, where you get to ask questions. We're going to really dive into your life and your leadership and what's going on. That's in the VIP. The VIP has a guide and a workbook. General admission doesn't. But nonetheless, you all are going to get some part of me on April 25th. The Empowered Living Summit, Clarity Restored. It's $97 for admission, general admission, $147 if you want to do VIP. And so I hope you are thinking about that. I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this live. But tonight we're going to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this particular thing because I think a lot of you think that when you get clarity, it's something you would have found that's new. And I want you to actually remember yourself. I want you to think about the fact that you have been clear. Like there have been times when clarity was very present in your life. Just a matter of us remembering what we where we were, what we were doing at that time, what it felt like, and the fact that it's not lost. It is essentially ours to regain and restore. So we've had 7 weeks of this very conversation. And I want to say something before we begin. If you've been here for some or all of them, you've done something that most leaders never do. You have stayed with what kind of a very hard conversation, and you stay with it long enough to let it tell you something and tell you something true about you. And that matters. So tonight, we're going to have a different, slightly different kind of conversation. I'm not going to talk about a problem tonight. I've talked enough about problems, so we know what the problem is. We've talked about the various problems, what those problems look like in your life. We've talked about what it costs you when you stay in those problems. But tonight, I want to describe something else. I want to describe a version of your leadership that you may have quietly stopped believing is still available to you. And let me encourage you and say to you, it is very much available. And I want you to remember it, which is why I call this live remembering you here. I want you to remember it before we go any further. I'm going to describe four things. And I want to describe four things, four dimensions of what leadership actually looks like when your clarity is restored. So we've been talking about restoring clarity. We've been talking about what being unclear looks like. But I want to talk about what leadership and what your life actually looks like when your clarity has been restored. I didn't say when it's been rediscovered, been discovered. I didn't say when clarity is created, when it has been restored back to you. Okay. And I'm not saying that everything's going to be easy. I'm not talking about when your calendar is lighter or when your demands are fewer, but I'm talking about when your actual clarity is restored, meaning you have a clear picture, you're fully aligned, therefore you have a clear idea of the decisions you have to make and what you ought to do next. Inside the same leadership, in your responsibility and at the same level of demand. All right. So four things. One, the first dimension is going to be your decisions. When your clarity is restored, your decisions are going to come and they're going to happen faster. They're going to happen quicker. Now, I'm not talking about those decisions that require you to maybe need to take a day or two to think about it. I'm not talking about those decisions. That process is you doing your due diligence. Please do your due diligence. But I'm talking about decisions that you have to make, even if it takes 2 days, 3 days, 5 weeks, because you need to do your due process. Nonetheless, you are clear on the decision that needs to be made, and it's going to happen quicker. Okay. And not because you're rushing the decision, not because you stop caring about getting them right, but because the resistance to make a decision is gone. So it's one thing if you have a decision to make and then you don't even start the process, the due process, or you don't start the 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 discernment of getting more information or thinking about making it. You just kind of be like, like that is resistance. That is friction. When clarity comes back, you don't have that. You don't have that internal resistance between who you are and then what you ought to do. It actually goes away. So when clarity is restored, the decision does not require you to search for what is right. And it doesn't require you to have a right version of you in order to choose. You already know because you are her or you are him. So the first dimension, the first thing that we see when clarity is restored is decision. The second dimension is your energy. And I mean, energy could look like so many things to so many people. But when your clarity is restored, your energy comes back. You have more energy. And I'm talking energy that people can see. So, prime example, when I hopped on here tonight, y'all saw me, music was playing in my background. I don't think y'all could hear it, but I was dancing to the music. And music is even playing right now, but I am just like so excited. I've had a long day. I've had a busy day, but even at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the afternoon where you are, I have a lot of energy doing what I love to do. I am clear on who I'm serving. I'm clear on what I want to say. I'm clear on my assignment. So that gives me all the energy in the world, no matter how tired I may physically be, or no matter what is going on. That energy returns when your clarity is restored, and not because my workload didn't decrease. So your workload may not decrease, but because someone took something off my plate. You may still have a very full plate, but because I'm no longer spending half of my time faking arriving here, I just arrive naturally. Like, that is confident, and that is true confidence. I'm not sitting here in the front of you guys faking it till I make it. I'm actually confident in what I'm supposed to do, in who I am, and in what I'm doing here with you guys. That confidence that used to cost me a lot is now here. So when you have all this energy, you also have this confidence. And then you have this certainty that you used to have to build every room. And every time you enter a room, you had a certainty. And when you walk in, like, people saw it, it exuded from who you are. Like, that is just simply present. Okay. So the work may still be demanding. We're not talking about things being easier, but the demand and the depleting are not the same thing. Okay. So when clarity is restored, you remember the difference between what's demanding and what's depleting. Excuse me. The third dimension, when clarity is restored, is presence. When your clarity is restored, you are actually in rooms you lead. And you're in the room that you're supposed to be in. Okay. Not managing from behind, but you're actually in the room you're supposed to believe in. Excuse me. Mm. So you're not managing from behind a glass. You're not running a performance or a version of yourself that's not real. It's actually who you are, and people are watching you up close. So your presence, you're actually there. It's something for us to be present, but our mind is somewhere else. We can be present, but our spirit is somewhere else. We can be present, but our soul is somewhere else. You understand? But when your clarity is restored, you are present. Your mind is here. Your thinking is there. You are there. Your instincts are there. And people can feel the difference. People can feel when you are present and when you are present but not present. People can feel it. And they know. They might not be able to name it, but they know the difference. So they're going to know when all of a sudden Maxie is actually present. All these years, like, I feel like she's actually here. They're going to know that, wow, Jabora is here. My goodness. Get behind me, Satan. The fourth dimension is direction. When our clarity is restored, our direction is restored, and our next move is visible. Let me say this again. When clarity is restored, your next move is visible. Now, y'all know I've been singing this song for the last however many weeks. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. You can actually see the obstacles. You can see where you're supposed to be going now. It's that clarity that comes back. And mind you, you might not be able to see every move, but you will definitely be able to see the next move. You might not be able to see every move, but you'll be able to see the next move that you couldn't see before because it was clouded or because it was foggy. All right. And I'm not talking about a 5-year certainty. Let's not worry about the 5 year. Let's worry about just the next year, the next day, the next moment, the next movement. All that comes back. Okay. I catch myself. Okay. So the next move is enough. Okay. that direction of your next move, that's all we are worried about. And as a leader, you need to be able to see the next move because there are other people who are trusting your next move. We don't need you blind leading the blind. And we want to trust that you're able to see the one after that eventually. Okay. So when clarity is restored, it is not just that leadership gets easier, it is that you recognize yourself again. You begin to recognize yourself again. And the leader who had to dig for confidence and you had to force movement and you had to create certainty before every meeting or before walking into a room or before entering a relationship or before making a decision, that is not who you were meant to be. When you are clear, your direction, your presence, your energy, and your decisions are the four things that actually feel lighter, that actually become more visible, that happen faster when your clarity is restored. Remember those four things. All right. And I want to tell you what it was like for me. And essentially, I remember when, and it's because I was out of alignment. So remember, clarity is a condition of alignment. So when things in my life were out of alignment because I had this big imposter syndrome and I believed that I wasn't chosen, so therefore I wasn't showing up. But when I was showing up, I was faking it. I was faking confidence. I was faking being there. I was faking smiles all the way through. It took me a long time to make decisions because I didn't know. I didn't think I had the money. I didn't think that people would listen to me. I didn't think that I had a big enough business. I didn't think that I would have anything to delegate to people. Like all of this was going on. And so I started to drift and I was running from my calling. I was running from my purpose. And when I finally had my clarity moment, my aha moment, and things came back into alignment, I remember the possibilities and the opportunities that I could not see all of a sudden were present. So it was almost like in my mind there were no doors opening. I couldn't figure out why no doors were opening. I couldn't figure out why anyone, well, they were choosing me, but in my mind they weren't choosing me. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't produce a program or sell a course, and I was always exhausted. And it was just so much going on, and I was just drifting, even though it didn't look like it on the outside. My calendar was full, mind you. The work was coming, the phone was ringing, the email was full, like all of that was there. But I was like, why don't I feel like that confident girl that I used to be 4 or 5 years ago? And I'm talking 4 or 5 years before my parents passed, before I had that thing that came in the way. And it's because number one, I'm not the same person that I was 4 or 5 years before. I was a totally different person at that time. And I had to reconcile that in my mind. So now this new person who has the same assignment, but I'm at a different place, I had to recognize that, Charissa, who you are right now and the assignment that you have is going to require you to carry it a different way. Excuse me. So I did that. And when I finally got to a position where I said, I'm going to hire, I am going to focus on my assignment, I know who I am already chosen, let me grow my business. I started making all of these decisions. The decision from once I made that final decision to hire that one person that my business needed, everything from there opened up. The clarity. I was able to make decisions faster. I became even greater in demand because I was more visible. I was able to show up truly for my clients, for the community, for my customers. Like I showed up and I wasn't faking. Like how I am now. I wasn't faking it. I was being authentic. I was present, like 100% present. Not half of my body here and my soul somewhere else. Not my body here, but my mind is somewhere else. No, like I became fully present. And then I then start to see what my next moves were. And when I say life became so much, not even easier, because life didn't become easier. but life became so much more enjoyable. It became so much more beautiful, and it became so much more fulfilling. And that's when I realized, even though life may not be easy, I don't necessarily want easy. I don't need easy, but I need fulfillment. I don't need easy, but I need significant. I don't need easy, but I need authentic. I didn't get all of that until I had my moment of clarity being restored, and all of those decisions and uh, presence and direction being restored back to me. And the moment wasn't any dramatic moment. There was necessarily no announcement. There wasn't a summit. I didn't necessarily have a breakthrough conversation, but it was this quiet recognition that your girl was back. And I was back and better. Like, I wasn't back an old self. I was back bigger and better. And so even what you guys see now is me continuing to get bigger and better. And that version of me had that I had been running from, or that I was performing around, had been there the whole time. This person, I had always been the whole time, and she was waiting, just like you. He or she may be waiting. That version of you where it's just waiting for you to know who you are, to know what is yours to carry, and to carry it the way it's supposed to. Like, it was just waiting. And that's what I want for all of you. I don't want a new version of you. I want the version of you that was always yours. I'm wanting that to return for you. Not easy, but clarity. Absolutely. Oh, good. Okay, you guys are in there. Okay. So clarity is not necessarily achievement. It wasn't this achievement. Like I said, it wasn't some dramatic event that happened. It was almost like this natural state. Like, we are we are supposed to be clear, clear in the mind. It's a natural state, and it is still available to us. It just needs to be restored. And it's not on the other side of a different season. It's actually on the other side of a decision to restore what you disrupted. So if clarity is a condition of alignment, then you have to decide to realign. If you want to have clarity, then you need to have alignment. So you need to figure out which of those dimensions of alignment need to be realigned. When you have that, then clarity is on the other side of that decision to actually do that. And it's not hard. It's not hard. It may not be easy, but it's definitely yours. So there's one more thing I want to say before I move on, and I want to say to you directly. So when I started this talk, I talked about we are having a summit called Clarity Restored in Leadership and Life. And I want to talk about that because you may ask, okay, Sharissa, now that I know the essentially the benefits, I gave you 4 benefits of when your stair clarity is restored. I gave you 4 things to remember, to look forward to in your life and your leadership when your clarity is restored. You'll be more present, you will have direction, you will have more energy, and your decisions will be a lot faster. Okay. But then you're going to say to me, Sharissa, but how? How do I do this? And I will talk about the how at the summit. Because you may say, okay, fine, Sharissa, you got me. Oh my goodness, I want to be a person of fast decisions. I want the energy. I want the direction. I want all of that. How do I get that? The how is coming in the summit. I'm gonna give and we're gonna spend time together talking about it. We're not gonna rush it. We're gonna spend about a few hours, a couple of hours, talking about how to restore clarity in your life. And I'm talking how in a practical way. So we know that it is a condition of alignment. We're gonna talk about how do we fuse the two. Okay. So April 25th, I want you there. If you can, I promise you, you will not miss it. I want you there. We won't have any replay. It's going to be a live Zoom event. We'll be. It won't be on. It won't be live like this. It's gonna be live. There won't be any replay, so you won't be able to watch it later, like how you can watch these later, because the work happens in the moment at the time. I'm going to be right there with you. We're going to be actually doing some work at the summit so that you can actually walk away with clarity restored, and you can actually walk away feeling your energy shift. You can walk away feeling your direction shift. You'll walk away feeling your decisions shifting and your ability to decide. You'll walk away feeling these things. And so clarity, and I'm talking about in leadership and life. I know we've been focusing on leadership, but you're also going to have this in life. And it's not going to be a metaphor, it's not metaphorical, like that is it. So what we do in that room is just going to be applied information of all we've been talking about, but also really the how. And we're going to apply it to your specific context. And so this is why I'm doing it in a private session, because I want to be able to take your specific context, who you are specifically, and we're going to describe where it is you're at. You get to ask questions about you specifically. We get to talk about it. We get to figure out where are you disrupted, so that we can reconnect and realign if we need to, so that you can start to get your clarity back, because we need you to get your direction back. We need you to get your energy back. Okay, so we're not just going to describe it. We've been describing it all this time. You know what clarity restored looks like. You now know what it's going to feel like. Now we're going to actually get it. We're going to get the restoration of it in the room on that day, which is why, unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunate, but there won't be a replay. That's it. So it's going to be a live thing. And whatever you get in that room on that day, it's going to be yours to keep. The website for any of you who are wanting it right now, it is www.charissamonroe.com/Clarity Summit. I will make sure I put it in the chat. Excuse me. Because I want to make sure that you guys are there. I can register until next week. Are there positions still available? Yes, Maxie. There are positions still available. So yes, please register when you can. I won't wait as long. I am only taking a handful. I'm taking the general admission registration is open. I'm only taking a handful of people for VIP, because VIP is going to be very laser focused. I want to know you all by name. I want to know you all by your story. That's more of an intimate session with me. So that's going to be very, very, there's not a lot of room there. But for general admission, yes. All right. Let me put it in the chat. charissamonroe.com/Clarity Summit. And you can register to be in the room, because I really want to dive deep into this. And then there are some of you who may say, Charissa, what you've been saying all these last 7 weeks has been good. I can now run with something. Now I know what I need to do. And I'm so grateful for you. Like, that's what I want for you. And for those who want to go deeper, or for those that just want more, or for those that want the space of others in the room, that's what the summit is going to be about. Okay? Awesome. I understand my God-given assignment, and now I'm moving in my purpose. Helen, good for you. I'm so grateful. I'm happy to hear that. I love to hear when people are doing their purpose work, and that way they are getting fulfilled. This is what we need. This is what we need more of in this world, trust me, especially now. Okay, so I'm going to close in a few minutes. I will stay and answer a couple of questions. I kind of just want to spend some time with you guys. But remember, we talked about clarity not being an achievement. It's your natural state. Like, that is how you are supposed to be. You are supposed to be clear. You're not supposed to walk around clogged up. You're not supposed to walk around stuffed up. You're not supposed to walk like how I am right now, stuffed up. I'm not supposed to be walking around like this. But trust me, I promise you, I'm getting clearer. However, it is your natural state to be completely free and open and able to breathe without any obstruction. I can use me because right now I'm stuffed up, but that is not your natural state. You were not built to create or have to fake confidence before you enter a room. You were not built to have to talk yourself and say, okay, come on, let's put it on. Let's put this mask on before we go into this room. You were not built for that. And you were not built to force direction. You were not built to, every time you have to make a decision, you have to think that it takes a long time. Like, you were not built for that. You were built to lead from who you actually are. You were built to lead from who you actually are, which is why the identity conversation is a very important conversation when it comes to alignment, when it comes to clarity. All right. And the version of you, that version of who you actually are to your core, has never left. He's just been waiting. She's just been waiting. So you don't need to earn clarity back. And which is why I'm specifically calling it clarity restoration, or restoring your clarity, because you don't have to earn it back. You don't need to restore. You just need to restore what's been disrupted, or you need to restore what's been disrupting the clarity. And that is what we're going to do April 25th. So make sure you are there. I'm so looking forward to continuing this conversation. We have one more live, which is going to be next week, Tuesday. And I'm excited. That's going to be our last live, right before the summit. But I am going to spend some time with you. And we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to continue this conversation because I want all of you to be able to experience what you should be experiencing as a clear leader. And not only in your leadership, but in your life. The decisions, the energy, the direction, and the presence, being able to show up. Do you know what it is to actually show up as you are, fully, not faking, just being able to be relaxed? Like, that's what I want for all of us. And that's what we get when clarity is restored. And you all deserve and have that right to have that returned back to you. So let me know if you have any questions. Any questions? It has been great. Who says truth? Absolutely. I have put the if you would also comment on any of my posts, if you would comment summit, you will also get the link to the summit sent directly to your DM as well. But the summit is going to be very practical. We're going to talk more about just how we've talked about the problem. Now we're going to talk about how to treat it. We've talked about the problem. I've even given you the results, if you will, and then at the retreat, at the summit, we're gonna back up and then say, okay, good. This is how we get it, and this is how we also sustain and maintain clarity. And then also, don't think though that when clarity is restored all the time. There's gonna be there's gonna be a time when something else you're gonna fall into doubt. You're gonna fall into imposter syndrome. You're gonna fall into fear, and then maybe a week from then, 5 years from then, somebody is gonna block your clarity, and you're gonna have to come back to this talk, and you're gonna remember. Charissa said, "It's not my clarity I need to be concerned about; it's my alignment." And then clarity is important to go after, because that's when I get to make decisions quick. That's when I get to know my next move, my direction. That's when I get to be present, and that's when my energy is top tier. Okay. What do you do when not going the way it should go? Maxie, what do you do when what is not going the way that you go? Can you clarify that for me? What is expected of me to be original and not be echoes of another teach, preach, and heal like Jesus Christ? What is expected of you? Ezekiel, there is no, well, From an expectation perspective, you are an original. Um, my dad always referred to the analogy of the fingerprint. We all have a unique fingerprint. That in itself makes each and every one of us very different from each other. We're different. You're different from me. I'm different from Maxie. Maxie's different from Emmanuel. We are all different by the very mere fact that we have different fingerprints. You are an original already. My expectation and hope for you is that you, number one, believe that. You just need to believe and know that you are an original. Yes, you may have a similar gifts, talents, purpose as someone else, but no one can do it like you, Ezekiel. You and I may be teachers. We may be both teachers and trainers, but no one can teach like Charissa. No one can train like Charissa. Just like how no one will be able to do it like Ezekiel. When you know that, the level of confidence that you show up with, you are so clear that your assignment and your fingerprint is only for you, that even though your neighbor, even though your peer may be teaching in the next classroom or maybe training on a different stage, you know that he or she can't do it like you. So you show up only knowing that I'm about to do what only Ezekiel can do. But that takes someone who is so aligned with who they are and what they are supposed to be, that they are so clear, that their confidence is so strong that they're like, but you know what? I am an original. And what I can do is only me. Only you can teach and preach and heal like Ezekiel can. Yes, there are other teachers. Yes, there are a whole lot of other preachers. Miles Monroe preached the way that he can. He will never preach like you, and you will never preach like him. The expectation is that you are not supposed to be able to preach like him. What if God saw fit that you are to preach better than him or preach different than him? What he may reveal to you will be different from what he revealed to Dr. Miles Monroe or to T.D. Jakes. You're all preachers, but your gift is your gift. No one can do it like you. And when you walk around with that level of knowing and confidence, you become completely unstoppable. So I hope that helps, Ezekiel. Assignment. I realize people align with me sometimes. It's scary. And I lose my own assignment in the moment. So when you say people align with you sometimes, and I lose my own assignment in the moment. So the only way that you can lose your assignment, Maxie, is if the foundation of your identity is not strong. Remember, when it comes to alignment, you have identity, you have assignment, and you have responsibility. Your assignment or your identity is just as important as your assignment. So if from an identity perspective, you knowing who you are at your core, if that is shaky and you're doubting, then yes, it is going to be easier for your assignment to wax and wane, for you to lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it. But when you understand, because there's an understanding that must happen, to your core, who you are, to your core, what are your values? What are your convictions? That's what I mean by who you are. What is it that you value? What are your convictions? And what are your beliefs? When you understand those, it's going to be very difficult for you to now not understand your assignment. And sometimes when we go back and forth and wax and wane on our assignment is because we are struggling with what is our calling. So we may have our identity intact, but we may still be struggling with, okay, so this person that I am now with these values and these convictions, what is mine? What is mine to do and what is mine not to do? And remember, that is a question that you need to ask. What is yours to carry? What is yours to carry? What is your calling and what is your purpose? Not what is someone else's. They may share some of the same gifts. They may be able to share some of the same talents. They may even share slightly same purpose, but still, what is yours to carry? Matthew says, I can't wait for next week. Thank you. I'm still cloudy and I need to be here. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're gonna get you to a place where your cloudiness has nothing to do with clarity. Your cloudiness has everything to do with alignment. And the fact that you're asking that question about assignment lets me know that it's the identity assignment responsibility conversation we need to have. It's the who am I, what is mine to carry, and how am I carrying it? And this makes me so happy because I get to walk you through that. And as challenging as it may sound, it is actually a very simple concept. And it may take some time to kind of walk through it, but it's a very simple concept. The more you know, the more as you go on, you get to make a conscientious decision on what you need to stop and what you need to see, and then what you need to stop. And that's going to be part of our conversation. Ooh, I just gave you all a little hint into the summit. Let me stop talking because this summit you don't want to miss because we are really going to talk about what we need to do to really hone in on clarity. Serene, I feel like I've gotten so overwhelmed with just making sure I make it through every day. I don't even know where to start trying to find who I am. I'm just a mom and I'm a survivor. Serene, let me say, first of all, you are not just a mom. You are a mother. You are a woman who bore God's amazing gifts, the greatest gift of all, next to Jesus Christ. You had children. You are more than just a mother, a mom, and you are more than just a survivor. And you are not a survivor. You are actually someone that's living and that's thriving. And so the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is change your language. Change your language, whether it's coming out of your mouth or whether it's coming from your hands. Change your language. Because a lot of what we think, a lot of how we behave, is because it has a lot to do with what we say. And the Bible talks about out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Let's change your language. You are not just a mother. I'm not just a mother. I am a mother. I am a woman who bore 2 children. That's going to be the next generation for tomorrow. That is a major thing. That is a major gift that God has given you. So let me be the first to say, let's redirect and let's change your language. And let's make your language to actually be who you are. Let's start there. Which is why when I think about the identity, and think of your values. What are your values? Let's start there. What are your convictions? Jesus knew who he was. So he walked around, chest high, as confident as can be. And he says, I am. He started his identity with I am. Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am the Lion of Judah. I am. So you can start with I am. Who are you? I am. So I can start with my identity, for instance, starts with I am already chosen. I am somebody's mother. Somebody's mother. I am somebody's trainer. I am somebody's beautiful wife. What do you value? I value love. I value kindness. Like these are who you are to your core. I am a child of the king. We don't have to complicate. I am going to be better than my father. I am going to be bigger than my father. I've been saying that since I don't even know how old, and I still stand to that to this day. So when we start to truly let our heart be so aligned with God's word that we don't have to manufacture who we are. You don't have to manufacture who you are. God already told you who you are. Go back. Remember I said this is all a return and restore, return and restore. We get to return back to the manual. We get to return back to him to say, who am I? I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You best believe I'm fearfully and wonderfully made on the outside. Hello, this is the beautiful face. But I'm also fearfully and wonderfully made on the inside. I know that. You get to say that, Serene. So let me speak to you right now. Don't overwhelm. Don't, no, no, no. Don't allow the enemy to put more doubt to make you believe that you are overwhelmed when you're not. You are not just a mother and you are not a survivor. You are a woman who is living a life and thriving. That is what you say. Now you have the answers. Maxie, good for you. Serene, you are most welcome. Most welcome. Ezekiel, good evening, Ma. What do I need? Realignment to operate in the King Spirit anointing and display the power of God ceaselessly. What do I need? Realignment. When we're talking about realignment, identity, assignment, responsibility. You want to make sure your identity is aligned with who you are at your core. Is it aligned with God's word? It is aligned with who God created. Your assignment, that's your calling, that's your purpose. Is it aligned with your God-given assignment? What are you carrying? Is what you are carrying yours to carry? Or are you carrying somebody else's? Are you carrying somebody else's expectation of what you should carry, of who you are? Are you working somewhere where someone said you were? Are you a doctor when you really want to be a firefighter? Are you having 5 children when you really want to have 2? Like, what is your assignment? What is yours to carry? What is yours that only you can carry? And then responsibility. How are you carrying it? Are you carrying what you are supposed to carry for who you are? Or are you carrying more than you should be carrying right now because an old version of you never left behind? So you see how identity, assignment, and responsibility is connected? When we start to answer those questions and we start to ask those questions, Ezekiel, that's when we start to realign. I hope this is helping. Serene, yes, I am a woman who is living a life and thriving. And the more you say that, the more you believe that, the more you start to have an attitude that way. The more you start to understand, the more your mind starts to shift that way. And you start to do things in that direction. But imagine if you walked around saying, I'm just a mom. You see how I'm just a mom. You see how everything in me just kind of hum, just kind of like it's all in my attitude, it's all in my personality, it's all in my energy. I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. No one cares. I'm just a mom. But when you say, I am somebody's mother, I had a son or I had a daughter, and I have been gifted with the opportunity to make them the best and the best, most important, amazing human being, that lightens you up. And then now you say, no, I'm not just a survivor. I am a woman who is living a life and thriving. You see how I can't even say that without smiling, without being, it just uplifts my spirit. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so if you want your life to be different, you got to start with what's coming out of your mouth or what's coming out of your fingers. Yes, it's very important. Understand your assignment. Looking forward to the summit. It'll be good to have you, Helena. Good to have you. Okay. So I promised that I wasn't going to be on here too long. I've answered a couple of questions. Thank you all for being here. Please, the replay for this live is available, as you know, on YouTube. I think it's also available on LinkedIn and Facebook. But you can also, I know for sure, the replay is available on YouTube. Make sure you share this with someone who you think may need it. Don't keep it to yourself. And remember, send it to someone that needs to remember where they are. And then I listen to it again if you need to remember that clarity isn't something you have to go and look for. It's actually waiting. The person that's waiting for you to show up and be present and know your next move, he or she is just waiting. Okay? So until next week, Tuesday, please lead longer, live deeper, leave more. You know, I've been saying that for the last 7 weeks, and I'm enjoying what you guys have been allowing me to do. I don't take it for granted. So thank you. For those who are going to register, charissamonroe.com/clarity summit. I look forward to seeing you there April 25th, and we will be together soon. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Until next time.